Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm sure that by now, many of you have heard about the upcoming FMCSA's Clearinghouse rule that some believe might slash capacity in a big way. So today, let's talk about what will happen on Monday and how up to 178,000 CDL holders are at risk of having their CDLs downgraded. And also, let's explore whether this will actually slash capacity. Ready? Let's go! I know we are all exhausted after 3 years of battling for our business to survive. I also know that 99% of us in this industry are hoping and praying that something will change as soon as possible, which will give us a chance to keep doing what we are doing. And of course, when any news comes out that seems to be big enough to actually create a change, we cling to it, hoping that this is what we have been waiting for to actually jumpstart the change we have been waiting for 3 years now. The latest and greatest is, of course, this news about the clearinghouse, which people say will reduce capacity by 178,000 drivers. But this channel is about truth. We look truth in the face. We don't try to create beautiful illusions. So here I am being the bearer of bad news. This 178,000 slash in capacity is simply misleading. So let's chat about it. So first and foremost, let's talk about the background of what is actually happening. In 2021, the FMCSA amended its regulations and created a new rule that is going to go into effect this coming Monday on November 18th. Now, according to the rule, and I will quote this, states will be barred from issuing, renewing, upgrading, or transferring a CDL or commercial learner's permit for any driver prohibited from driving a commercial vehicle due to one or more drug or alcohol violations. So the first question I had, and I'm sure some of you will have as well, is does this mean that people who have a CDL that is not yet up for renewal will not be affected? Yes, they will be affected because this new rule will require that states, and I quote, remove commercial learner permit or CDL privileges from the license of drivers subject to the commercial motor vehicle driving prohibition. The result, these CDLs will basically be downgraded until the driver completes their return to duty requirements. So if you're like me, you might be wondering, well, isn't this the same thing we have right now? If a driver has a drug or alcohol violation, they have to complete the return to duty process before they drive, right? Yes, but as it stands today, right now, it is mostly on the employers, the carriers, to actually find that out and then remove those drivers from the road. If you see a driver has prohibited status, you cannot hire this driver until they complete the return to duty process. As it stands right now, state agencies do not receive any program violation information, which means that a person in prohibited status can continue driving and kind of go under the radar unless the employer, a carrier, finds out they're in prohibited status and does not employ this person, or if a roadside inspector catches the violation. Now, with this new rule, which is coming into effect this coming Monday on the 18th, not only will state agencies now be aware of any violation, but also all enforcement officers will be able to very easily identify a person who is driving while in prohibited status. So what does this mean? Well, I'm going to quote this. According to FMCSA's most recent monthly clearinghouse report, which was updated on September of 2024, as many as 178,839 CDL holders are going to lose their CDL on Monday as they are in prohibited status in the clearinghouse. Now, as I said before, we are all exhausted and we tend to cling to hope. But before you start jumping out of your seat and thinking, finally, there's going to be a really big slash in capacity, just know that this is misleading. Something you guys should be aware of, and most of you are. For the most part, Folks in the trucking industry are following the clearinghouse rules. We absolutely have to do that. Before we hire any driver, by law, we are required to check the clearinghouse. And in case of an audit, one of the first things they ask you is show me the proof that you actually checked the clearinghouse before you hired this driver. I'm speaking from personal experience here. So even though there are over 178,000 CDL holders who are in prohibited status, most of them are already not driving because carriers are forced by the rules and regulations to check that clearinghouse. So most of those folks, they are not on the road. This is not dispatchable capacity. Now, what this rule does is it kind of catches those people who fell through the cracks. So there are going to be some carriers who absolutely ignore the clearinghouse, don't check anything on the driver, but that's not going to be as many people as you think. So if you were hoping for this to be a big slash in capacity, that's not what's going to happen because, again, for the most part, carriers do pay attention to the clearinghouse, and those drivers that are in prohibited status are not driving anyway. Now, really quickly, for those who are wondering what causes a driver to be placed in prohibited status on the clearinghouse, well, it could be one of three things. Number one, you failed an alcohol or drug test. Number two, you provided an adulterated specimen, so you kind of cheated. And number three is if you refused a random drug or alcohol test. So yeah, guys, I am afraid that this is not the catalyst that 99% of the industry was waiting for to change the situation in the freight market. Now, if this video ended up kind of shattering your hopes and dreams, I do apologize. But again, as I said before, this is a channel where we look truth in the face because I am a strong believer that no matter how difficult the truth is, it's better to know exactly what is happening so you can better prepare. Preparing on a false illusion that everything is hunky-dory is not going to have a positive outcome. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. See you in the next video.